we go through this agenda for today, and we make sure that at the end we have 15 minutes for live session of question and answers. So first, an update about Wattsense, how we are doing. So today, Wattsense is a team of 30 people. We are still based in France, still headquartered in Lyon, with some of our staff working across France remotely. We have an international presence with our 30 resellers in 15 different countries, and I would like to thank them. I see some of them in the call today. And we have a good number of our boxes installed. We have about 8,000 and plus tower and bridge installed and running across the world. Since October 2021, we are Wattsense, a Siemens company. We have been acquired by Siemens. It has been 3 years now. And since the acquisition, we benefit from Siemens' expertise, but as a team of 30 people with all the functions inside Wattsense, we keep our agility and our room for innovation. And since 2024, our mission has turned from unlocking building data to democratize BMS for building management solution for measurement-sized buildings. That's a key mission for Wattsense for the next 3 years. Now, what I mean by small and medium-sized buildings, those are the types of buildings where there are no BMS. No one is interested yet in operating those buildings. We are speaking about a bank branch, a school, a multi-family housing, or a small office buildings. In those buildings, they are rarely a building management solution, and the Wattsense solution is there to let those buildings monitor the equipment, gather energy data for them to reduce the spend while increasing the occupant comfort. And for this, I will show you a couple of use cases that we added to the Wattsense product in 2024. I will share my screen in a moment.
Hopefully no issues.
Hopefully no issues this time.
Fingers crossed.
Here we are. So welcome to the Rainbow Nursery. This is the use case that we will use for this demo. We will, for this nursery is operated by a city council, and there are 3 kinds of people interacting in the nursery. There is an energy manager working in the city council building, who is asked to decrease the energy spend. There is also a nursery manager who is working inside the nursery, and she's cautious about the eating and working properly for the different staff and the babies, obviously. And then there is the facility manager, an in-house facility manager who is tasked to do the job. So I will be this facility manager. I am John Ripley here, and I've been asked to add a new equipment to the Rainbow Nursery. One of these equipment is an air quality sensor. The energy manager asked me to do so, and also a radiator valve to operate some of the heating actuators. I know that I have a Wattsense box already installed in the Rainbow Nursery, but I need to add new equipment. So maybe the first step that I will be doing, I will browse the new compatibility checker from Wattsense, and I will try to see if there are already some air quality equipment that are compatible with the box. You can see the new page we designed and launched this year, in the last year. I will select LoRaWAN as a protocol, and I can select equipment based on certain filters. Here, I am interested in not a meter, an ICT equipment, sensor equipment, and an IAQ sensor equipment for air quality monitoring. I see some of the references here. I can pick up one that I think is best. Obviously, I need to find it in the reseller catalog as well. So you can see that at Wattsense, we are open to the whole ecosystem. We have both 2 well-known brands alongside each other. I will not disclose the name. and I will be interested in this one, the Cinetica, here for this demo. So I will get one of those devices. I know that it's compatible with the Wattsense box, so that's all good for me. And then I need an actuator to operate one of my heating. So again, I can look, or I can search also, and I have been told about an actuator from mClimate. And here I can find it. It's a thermostatic radiator valve called Vicky that is quite popular in Europe. And I will pick up this one as well. So now that I have those two equipment in my list, I go back to my box and I will add them. To add a device, I will do it here manually. I will go through the Wattsense configuration wizard. I will input the name that I was looking for. So it was the, if I remember well, I pick up another one. Unless he's also doing air quality devices. I need to enter the device keys. So for the purpose of the demo, I will enter fake credentials here. I will copy paste them from another file. Here we are. And then I have a list of properties available from me directly. We decode them for the raw payload, and here they are. Right now, I don't know as a facility manager what the energy manager wants. So I will just, because I am on site, I just want to make sure the device is drained, and I can set them up and then leave. I will activate the properties after. So I do that, and I will add my other equipment as well. So I go back here to the list. I select another device. I input another different set of credentials provided by the manufacturer. And here they are. And I know that for this device, I want to control the temperature. And thanks to Wattsense, I don't need to write a downlink specific to LoRaWAN technology. I can directly write the target temperature and the child block, and the information will be sent to the device. Okay, I just added my two devices. Here they are. They are in the console on the web, and by saving the changes, I will send them to the box, and from then, the device will communicate with the box. This is happening right now. Of course, I could have done that through a file. I could have import in bulk a set of LoRaWAN devices. Here I went for the manual road. What you can also notice that when I went to the compatibility checker is that last year, Wattsense, we added some semantic, meaning that we start declaring a description of every property and every equipment inside the configuration. So we know that here we added an air quality monitoring device, a radiator actuator, and this semantic is for now used in the equipment library, but tomorrow it will allow you to do some other use cases, and I'm looking forward to showing them to you later. So right now, I added those two devices, and I don't know exactly which properties I want to add. So I will send to my energy manager the list of properties. And this is a new feature that we added. You can edit the configuration of a box with a file. So I will download the equipment properties. Here we are. I have an Excel file that has been downloaded to my laptop. Here I'm just sharing my browser, so I can't show you the Excel file, but I will probably switch to the sharing later. And I will send this file to the energy manager so that he can select in the file the properties that are relevant for him. Meanwhile, I go back to the configuration. I make sure the devices have drained. And because the nursery manager is worried that the building is not heated properly, I have been told to show a dashboard with the heating schedule operating in the building. So you are most likely familiar with the dashboard that we have. So this is a small schematic of the area. There's also a map of the nursery with some sensors. There's also some dashboards with a tile, with a table. And now I will have the schedule. So for this, I select dashboard. And that's the boiler scheduler. It's a controller scheduler because it is operated by, there's a gas boiler running in the boiler room that is heating the whole building. And with Wattsense, we can do a quick visualization to show you that it's working properly. So I'll just publish it, only for Monday and Tuesday, let's say. And here it is. What I just did is that I just created 2 tiles, one for each day from my gas boiler, and it's the schedule that is inside the gas boiler, meaning that from 7 to 7 p.m. it is set up to normal. This gas boiler is a Siemens RVL 480, which is quite popular in Europe. You can do the same type of visualization with the Cinco range of products and the whole RVL family range at Siemens. But not only I can do a visualization of a schedule, I can also, in addition, create my own schedule inside the box. How can I do that? I go to configuration, and because I updated my box to use the control range with the little blue icon here, I can see a new tab, scheduling, and I will create my first schedule. Let's name it kids area. And let's say that the nursery is operating from 8 to roughly 6:30 p.m. And that during this time, the nursery is occupied. That's what I have been asked here, and I will copy paste it Monday to Friday. And the rest of the time, there is no one in the nursery, or there should be no one, and it's unoccupied. I can add some exceptions to this scheduler. I just created before the demo the school holidays for spring in the UK. So let's say that I will add it. And during the school holidays, there's no one in the nursery, so it's a long absence. Here we are. This is my exception. I click on next. And here, I am asked to configure the Wiki radiator valve in line with this occupation schedule. So I just find my Wiki valve that I just added, and I select the target temperature. I can have here 5, 10, sometimes 100 of M-Climate Wikis, and it will work the same. And I can say that when the building is occupied, I want it to be heated to 20 degrees. And when it is not, I go down to 15. And when it's not occupied for a long time, I switch to unfreeze to 12. And I want to apply this all year long. Obviously, when there's an exception, this will take over. And here we are. I just created my schedule. It is, again, part of a web configuration. I can double check here the setup with the set point. And I will push it back to the box. And when it is in the box, it will start running locally. So there's a copy of a scheduler online in the console, but it runs locally every time. So I did that. I have my gas boiler for the primary that is working as expected. I just set up the actuators to control maybe the main room inside the nursery. Maybe I will do a bit of data visualization for the nursery manager to be aware and trust that I did good, and that the heating is operating as specified. For this, here it is about the boiler, but I can also add another dashboard to show the schedule inside the main area. Here is the schedule that I just created, so I will do that. I select it, and I will say that I put all the week without the weekend because it applies to my building here. And here we are. On this graph, so we are Tuesday today, and I can see that the building has been set to occupy between 8 and 6:30 p.m. And the order will be sent to the climate Vicky to heat up the actuator at 20 degrees Celsius. So that's what we added for the dashboard, and this is available on production on your box. Now, I may have gotten back the file from my energy manager, so I will edit the configuration in bulk. So I go back to configuration, and I will just stop sharing, and I will share back again, sharing my whole screen. There we are. Okay. Okay, back to the console. This was the file I just downloaded with all the data points. I see some help for me to update the file, but let's say I'm a bit used to it now, so I know where to go. So in this file, I will be the energy manager. I receive the file. I see all the properties available in the box. So I will just apply a filter. I'm looking for the endless device. And I can see here a column that says that whether or not the property is disabled or enabled as part of the configuration. I am monitoring the air quality, so I want to control the CO2. I will change those properties to enable, and I will save the file. I will send back the file to the facility manager, and then I will be able to import it inside the configuration. For this, I go back to edit. I don't need to export the file again. I can just upload the file. I hope it is the right one from the download folder, and the file is processing. And here we are. I see a preview of all the content in my file. I will update the configuration. And normally, here, I can see that the new property I just added in the file in Excel has been taken into account and enabled in my box as well, with the sync icon checked, whereas all the others are still disabled. So that's good. That's exactly what I wanted. And I could have done this across multiple devices in the same box. I could have even played with some other column, like the name, the descriptions. But anyway, my configuration is over. I'm happy with the changes. And I just push it to my box. So as a facility manager, I added the two new LoRaWAN devices. I make sure that I have the properties that I wanted. I created some dashboard for the nursery manager to feel confident that the heating is operating as it should. The last thing I want to do is maybe to add an alarm to make sure that the room is heated properly. For this, with what we added this year, you can add an alarm. Like this one. you base the alarm on the temperature here. So I should find one somewhere. Here we are. I want to check that the value is in the range, but this range also depends whether or not the building is occupied. And this, I can do it now. I can link the alarm to my kids' area schedule. I can double check, yes, it's the same one. And I will say that when the building is occupied, my temperature should be between 18 and 22. If it's not between, sorry, if it's between 22 and 25 or more, then the severity is standard. It's a bit too hot. And if it's below 18, then it's critical. And I should receive a notification. And for this, I will set it up. So I will add myself as a recipient. Here we are. And I want to be notified by email when it's critical. I could have set up also text message notification if I had my number under my account.
Very handy, this SMS feature.
I set the alarm. Okay, I just need to set it up correctly. Sorry. Okay. Bon, demo effect. I will need to check why it happened. But here we are. Yeah.
Voila.
Okay, good. So I set up the alarm. And at last, because I want to pass the Wattsense data to the energy management software, I will play a bit with gateways. So here I have my gateway. So a gateway is a broker that passes the data from the box to an external equipment. It can be a Modbus supervisor, it can be a backnet, DMS, or an MQTT broker. Here it will be my backnet gateway. And I will pick up the air quality property that I just added. So I will do that. Here I will see all the properties available in my configuration. There were the CO2 properties. Here they are. I add them all. And you may notice that if you add a scaling, the scale values will now be redirected to your gateway so that you don't need to apply the same scaling twice. This is a new feature that has been released very recently to your box. Here I don't have any scaling for the demo, but nonetheless, I can push the configuration to a box. And that's about it. That ends the demo here. Again, all those features are available to you on production. It also depends if you have a control option or not. The schedule is part of the control range, but all the other features are part of the standard Wattsense offering. So let's go back to the slide. Here we are.
I also just added a second poll right now, so make sure to participate on that. And the question tab is there as well if you have some questions right now after all of that you just saw.
Thank you. Thank you, Anna. So that was 2024. Now let's look at 2025, what we are up to. And this year will be a big year for Wattsense because we will launch our automation editor. And you can see a preview of this editor in the screenshot. It's it's automation designed for IoT devices based on a graphical interface that aims to be very easy to use. So you will set up a property as part of a condition. A condition can be based on the value of a property in the if section on the left, or it will also take into account the scheduler, what time it is of the day, and what slot type should be applied. And based on the conditions, we will perform actions in the then section, either to set a set point value or to change the scheduler behavior. We will run those actions if the conditions are met for a certain time. This is the during block on the top. And at last, when the conditions are no longer met, you will be able to specify a return to normal to make sure the buildings go back to its current state. So thanks to this, you will be able to implement a scenario such as there's a presence detection inside the building. No one is no longer detected in the building, so switch off the heating or switch it to the eco mode. And the return to normal will be if someone is back for more than 5 minutes, then put it back on. And this will be possible thanks to this new feature. Alongside this new feature, reusing the same interface, you will be able to specify a different type of actions, which is alarms. Not alarms with one data point, as I just showed you, but alarms based on several data points. Using the same logic, an action could then be to write a set point or to raise an alarm that will be up to you. And even more, you will be able to create new data points that are going further than the delta calculation, the consumption calculation. You will be able to write functions inside the input field here that you can see on the right. And as a result, your scenario could be just to create a missing metering index, or maybe a function to convert one physical unit to another, etc. We switch gears, we switch from the automation, and we will go also to the fleet management space with Wattsense this year to provide you not only a view of your box, but to provide you a view of your estate, of your area by joining the data together. So you will compare temperature between building and not only between boxes inside the same interface. So this will be quite a change for us at Wattsense here. Coming back to the box level and the configuration, you will be able to translate values. What I mean by that is that instead of saying 0 or 1 for the status of a valve, you could say that 0 means that the valve is locked, closed, 1 that it is open, and you will see closed or open inside the user interface. And you can play with it in dashboards, graph, etc. Also for this year, we will revamp the console user interface, new interface that match the Wattsense identity that you can see in those slides, and new dashboards. We want the tower to be competitive against energy management solutions. And that's why we're going to invest in dashboards, not only in the style, if I may say, but also in the functions to make it appealing for you and make you sure that we are going into the energy management solution space. Going to the hardware topics, we will be RED 2 ready for August 2025. So RED 2 is a European regulation that will be compulsory for radio equipment, so it impacts us at Wattsense, but we will make sure we are compliant by August 2025. And from this year, we are working to be compliant, to comply as well with the Cyber Resilience Act, or CRA, that applies to Europe. And thinking about hardware, the new version of the box is coming. It will be available this year. I didn't want to show the design of the box because it's still a bit confidential, but nonetheless, I wanted to share some of the features that will come alongside this box. There won't be any additional power supply required. The box will be more repairable by itself. thanks to a repairable fuse. Speaking about electronics, the LoRaWAN card is designed by us at Wattsense with a more powerful processor. The LoRaWAN server running in the box will be based on chop stack that is commonly used in the industry. It will still be a compact box, and you will be able to deploy the antenna within the electric cabinet. And at last, for the M-bus fan, we will be able to power more than 20 M-bus devices on the same bus. And alongside those major milestones for us, and I hope for you as well, there will be many other features, just highlighting 3 of them today. Recurring archives management is coming to the console soon. It will be available this quarter. For the BACnet community, we will support the BACnet ED file as well to declare properties after a scan or to import BACnet properties as a whole. And working with some of our close partners in the LoRaWAN ecosystem, we will add a better support to update LoRaWAN devices inside the console. And that's about it for 2025. I hope you will see those features and enjoy them in the application when they will be available. I will close the presentation for now, and I'm looking forward to your question. And a big thank you as well for your presence today. I don't know if we got many questions.
We have one right now. Brianda replied, but I think it would be interesting if you go into it. It's from Nielsen. He's saying this is his first participation. So sorry if it's not relevant. All questions are relevant, Nielsen, so don't worry. And how do you define which buildings are in scope for your solution? Do you perform any plant room screening, or do you have a dealer network which will do this?
Plant room screening is more suitable for industry. We do operate in some industrial buildings, but where we are best in those buildings is to use LoRaWAN to get some data that are not available to the classical BMS and send them to the industrial BMS or plant operation software. This is where we are good at. But you have to know a bit more LoRaWAN, and our team will be happy to tell you more about LoRaWAN because LoRaWAN has its specificities and sometimes is not the best protocol or solutions for industrial use cases. So let's maybe discuss it on the side to know a bit more about your use case and see if the box is appropriate or not.
Yeah, exactly. It would be good to have an idea of like what type of project do you have in mind, what building, and how can we help. We have a question from Steve. Will the object icon for status be available to use on a graphic dashboard?
Yes, so Steve is referring to the translation of values. If you translate 0 to 1, and still you probably saw that there is an icon library as well on the side. The library will be reusable inside the dashboard, yes.
So Rob says, we have a box connected to a BMS via BACnet. The LoRaWAN service shut down and need a power cycle to restart the LoRaWAN. We cannot restart it via the console.
No, not today. You can't restart the box via the console. It is not possible, and we don't plan it for now. The use cases where you should restart the box are normally very rare. That's why for now we advise to go through the support team.
Yeah. So Nielsen also says, I see you can connect to Velimo energy valves. Are you also capable to utilize the special features like Delta T limiter? As just an example.
Yeah, so it takes me a bit out of spot, but we need to dive into it because I'm not familiar with this equipment, so we need to, as Brianda said, we need to check the protocol, in which protocol it communicates, then to see which data points are available from the manufacturer under those protocols, and if those data points are read and write, then we should be able to to play with them, if I may say, and give it to you. Yeah.
Okay, we have a more gearing topic. We have Julie. This says, thanks a lot for the very interesting insights. You're welcome. Can you tell us more about how your pricing works and will develop? I believe the license is currently per decoded data point.
Yeah, so the Wattsense, so you have different package. First, you have a bridge. The bridge is not sending the data to the cloud, so you need to get them locally. And there is the tower. The tower is sending the data to the cloud, and thanks to this, you can do dashboards, graph, etc.
Alarms,
So
etc.
yeah, so this is the first important separation. For both bridge and towers, you have specific packages, and those packages are based on the number of data points that are connected to the box and the protocols. It's a matrix that our sales team can provide you more details. And each package has its own price. And on top of it, we added the options to add control, which adds an increment to the original price. But Julie, we can discuss this in more details because a pricing grid is very dependent on your project, and this is the big lines how it works.
I would say to get a general idea, you can always go to our website, and on each product page, there is the grid that shows at least what are the different ranges or plans for your building. So we have for instance, a bridge license, IoT, IoT Plus, medium, etc., etc. That gives you a first start, and then of course, to go more into detail, always talk to our sales team or commercial team, and they can go further into exactly the pricing intake. Okay, let me see. Pedro Soto Torres, family of mine, Torres, hello. If there's an issue with LoRaWAN coverage in a building and we need to deploy 2 boxes, is it possible to automatically manage which equipment connects to a specific box?
So good question. This is something I didn't want to show it into the preview because it's a topic that we need to investigate, but we would like it to happen. Yes, we would like you to be able to declare the LoRaWAN devices somewhere in the console, and then they will be associated or joined with a local Wattsense box, depending on the best reception. And you don't have to care much about which box you need to pair the device. So I can't guarantee it will come in 2025, but it's something that we are investigating. Today, it is not possible.
Okay, I see that Bray is answering some other question. Simon asked about the support for backnet schedule object in the box bridge backnet gateway. Bray says always just contact our support team and they will guide you through. I don't know, Julien, if you want to add anything towards that.
The schedule object is supported.
Mm-hmm.
So you can scan a backnet network. You can import a data point that represents a scheduled object. You can even show, like I did with the RVL, a dashboard data visualization for the backnet scheduled object. So this is possible here.
All right. I think. Thank you, Niels. Saying really great presentation. Before you guys leave, remember to participate on the last poll I just posted. I think that's it. If anybody else has any other questions, I think we went through all of them already. Yeah. So,
okay.
Anything else?
No, not from me. Thank you for your participation today. Thanks for the good questions. Maybe we didn't have time to go in much details to answer them, so but we have your questions for the application, so we'll maybe send you a follow-up that is more precise. And you can still reach out to me. So you have my email address on this slide here. Or reach out to your usual point of touch at Wattsense, whether the sales team or the support team. But again, thank you for coming today. Thank you for your interest, for being a business partner of ours, and happy to see you more in 2025 and show you what we want to deliver in the application.
And this video will be available as a replay and in a couple of days, also in our YouTube channel, where it will be there forever until YouTube passes away or something.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Have
Thank
a good
you.
day. Bye.
Bye. Thank you so much. Anyway,